Think of someone you truly despise. No, not just dislike. I mean a visceral, chemical revulsion, a tightening in your chest, a sour taste in your mouth. Their very existence feels like a personal affront, a fundamental violation of how the world ought to be. Their confidence strikes you as unbridled arrogance. Their success feels like a cosmic error, a theft of something that should have been yours. Their freedom feels like a personal attack, a cruel and silent judgment on your own constrained life. You hear their name in a conversation and a knot of cold dread tightens in your throat. You see their face flash across a screen, and a silent, burning judgment rises from a place deep within you. It is an ancient, instinctual fire. You've built an entire fortress of rationalizations to justify this contempt, a carefully constructed narrative where you are the righteous judge, and they are loud or fake or shallow or morally inferior, a story that makes you feel safe. But what if all of that is a lie, a self-imposed lie, meticulously crafted to avoid a single devastating truth? That person is not your enemy. They are a distorted mirror. And for years you've been raging at your own reflection. And in that reflection, if you dare to look, you will see the most powerful, brilliant, and untamed part of yourself. The part you yourself executed and buried alive years ago. This is not a pleasant thought. It is not meant to be a source of comfort. It is a weapon. The world, with its endless chorus of mediocrity, will tell you to be kinder, to let go of your hate, to rise above it. They are wrong. They are pacifying you, keeping you small and manageable. Today, we are not letting go of hate. We are weaponizing it. We are seizing it by the throat and following it down into the abyss of your own soul. Because that abyss is not a tomb, it's a treasure vault. And what Carl Jung, the great surgeon of the human psyche, understood is this. Your most intense, most chemical hatred does not point to a flaw in others. It points to a treasure within you. A treasure you were conditioned, systematically trained to feel ashamed of. A shining, golden potential you have disowned so completely you no longer even recognize it as your own. And the person you hate has the audacity to live it. This is the secret of the golden shadow. By the end of this immersive experience, you will no longer see your hate as a poison. You will see it for what it truly is, a treasure map, written in fire. And I am handing you the shovel. To understand this, you must first understand the architecture of your own mind. Jung spoke of the shadow. Think of your psyche as a house. The sunlit upper floors are your conscious mind, the parts of you that you present to the world. But beneath it lies a psychic basement, a dark, damp cellar where you throw everything you deem unacceptable, your primal rage, your searing envy, your forbidden desires, your hunger for power. You pretend this basement doesn't exist. You lock the door. You ignore the strange noises and tell yourself you live only in the light. But the shadow doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It seeps through the floorboards. It projects itself onto others. You see your own denied anger in your boss's authority, your own repressed chaos in your partner's freedom. As Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But this is only half the story. The easy, comfortable half. The most dangerous, most transformative secret is what he and his followers called the golden shadow. The golden shadow is your rejected genius. It is your buried gold. It is every magnificent, powerful, brilliant trait that the world deemed too much and so taught you to call wrong. It is the part of you that the world feared. And so it taught you to fear it yourself. Think about it. Go back. Was your natural, unapologetic confidence labeled arrogance? So you learned to shrink, to apologize for taking up space. Was your creative fire, your chaotic and brilliant spark called irresponsible or a waste of time? So you learned to be practical, to trade your stars for a spreadsheet. Was your raw ambition, your innate drive to conquer and become shamed as selfish? So you learned to play small, to serve others' dreams instead of building your own empire. You did this to survive, to fit in, to be loved. You performed a slow, brutal amputation on your own soul. You cut off the brightest, most powerful parts of yourself. You threw them into the same dark basement as your demons. So you constructed a persona, a pleasing, acceptable mask for the world. It earned you their approval. but it cost you your power, and now your psyche is at war. Your soul longs for wholeness, for reclamation. So when you encounter someone in the outside world who unapologetically embodies the very gold you rejected, you don't feel admiration. You don't feel inspiration. You feel rage. You feel disgust. You feel visceral hatred. Your hatred is a form of psychological homesickness. It is the battle cry of your exile potential, screaming from the dungeons of your soul, demanding to come home. If this exploration of the psyche resonates with you, take a moment to support our work. Like this video and subscribe. It ensures our future journeys into the abyss will find you. Now let's make this real. Let's dissect your hate. Think of that person at work, in your industry, maybe even in your family. The one who speaks with unflinching certainty, who takes up space in a room just by entering it, who leads without asking for permission, whose ambition is a force of nature, unapologetic and relentless. Their life seems to move forward with a momentum you can only envy. You call them arrogant, a narcissist. You sit with your colleagues and whisper, dissecting their flaws, searching for cracks in their armor. They're not that smart, you say. They just talk a good game. They must have stepped on people to get there. You secretly celebrate their missteps, their failures. Why? Why does their success feel like a personal defeat? Because they are a living, breathing monument to the confidence you were taught to suppress. They're the embodiment of what Nietzsche called master morality, the creator of values, the commander of their own destiny, who looks at the world and says, "This is what I want, and I will make it so." But you were raised in the cage of slave morality, a system designed by the timid for the timid to keep the strong in check. It taught you that humility is a virtue, that ambition is a sin. It taught you to wait your turn, to seek consensus, to second-guess yourself, to apologize for your own ideas, to wait for permission that will never ever come. You live in a cage of self-doubt, meticulously constructed and reinforced every single day, and they are free. They are soaring in a sky you were told you had no right to enter. Your hatred is the sound of your own repressed sovereignty rattling the bars of that cage. You don't hate their confidence. You hate that it is a blinding mirror to your own fear. The gold you buried? Sovereignty. The raw, untamed power to be the author of your own laws, the master of your own reality. Do you know someone like that? Have you ever felt that sting of envy disguised as moral judgment? Now think of that friend, that acquaintance, that person you follow online, the one who quit their stable, sensible job to write a novel, start a band, or travel the world with a backpack, the one who rejects the predictable path you chose for yourself, the mortgage, the pension plan, the slow march toward a sensible retirement. You call them childish, irresponsible, naive. You watch their journey with a cynical eye, secretly, let's be brutally honest, secretly hoping they fail, because their failure would validate your sensible life. It would quiet that nagging voice that whispers to you in the dead of night, the voice that asks, what if? What if you had been brave enough? Their failure would be your comfort. Why? Because they embody the creative freedom you sacrifice for the illusion of security. They are living in alignment with the Tao, the natural, unpredictable flow of existence that you have dammed up within yourself. You traded your own dancing star, as Nietzsche wrote, for a predictable orbit, for a pension plan, for a quiet desperation. Their chaotic, beautiful light doesn't just illuminate their path. It exposes the darkness of your own compromise. It reveals that the sensible life you tell everyone you chose was perhaps the life you settled for out of fear. You don't hate their freedom. You hate that they are a living, breathing reminder. A reminder that your own cage was not forced upon you. It was built, brick by brick, by your own hands. The gold you buried? Authenticity. The terrifying courage to live a life that is truly your own. Not a script written by society, your parents, or your deepest fears. Let's be honest. Does a part of you resent them simply for daring to do what you only allow yourself to dream of? Now we go deeper. Beyond the office, beyond your circle of friends, into the realm of myth where the eternal truths of the psyche are laid bare in fire and shadow. Think of Hephaestus, the god of the forge. Born lame, ugly, imperfect. He was cast from the divine heights of Mount Olympus by his own mother Hera, ashamed of his imperfection. Hurled from the heavens, he fell for a day and a night, broken and rejected. He was the ultimate outcast, an outcast among gods. He could have drowned in an ocean of bitterness and resentment. He had every right to become a monster, to plot revenge, but instead he retreated, not in defeat, but in focus. He went into the fiery heart of a volcano, the ultimate symbol of destructive and creative power. He embraced the darkness, the isolation, the searing heat. And there, in the solitude of his own wound, with his rejected, imperfect hands, he took the raw chaos of the earth, the iron, the bronze, the gold, and he forged objects of such impossible power and beauty that the very gods who scorned him had to crawl back, begging for his creations. He forged Achilles' armor, Hermes' winged helmet, Aphrodite's girdle. He turned his rejection into indispensable power. He made his wound his throne. His wound became his weapon. His shadow became his source of creation. And so can yours. Your own life is this myth playing out. The gifts you were told were ugly or unacceptable by the gods of your childhood, your intensity, your sensitivity, your ambition, they are the very source of your divine fire. You have thrown your own inner craftsman from the mountain of your consciousness, and now you spend your life hating those you see flying with the wings he could have built for you. The gold you buried? Creation. The divine power to take the raw, imperfect, chaotic material of your life and forge it into a work of art. Do you see the pattern now? The terrifying, liberating pattern? Your psyche, in its infinite wisdom, is showing you the path back to yourself. It uses the people who trigger you most as guides. They are not your enemies. They are your unwilling, brutal, and absolutely necessary mentors. For years, you've been at war with the wrong people. And here's the brutal truth. The war is not out there. The war is within. A war between the comfortable prison of your persona and the terrifying freedom of your true self. But knowing this is not enough. Diagnosis is not the cure, it's merely the map. Now, you must become a psychological alchemist. You must learn to take the lead of your hatred and transmute it into the gold of your own genius. This is not a quick fix. This is the great work. This is a manual for a lifetime of self-reclamation. Pay close attention. When the hatred burns, do not look away. Do not suppress it. Face the fire. Become a detective of your own soul. The trap here is to generalize. To say, I just hate him. That is a coward's answer. Go deeper. Ask the crucial question. What is the specific quality in them that triggers this storm in me? Is it their unapologetic confidence? Their creative freedom? Their effortless self-expression? You must isolate it. Name it. Transform the vague, poisonous feeling of resentment into a single, glowing piece of data. This is the raw material for your alchemy. The power you unlock is clarity. Now, take that quality and put it on trial. Ask yourself, who first taught me this quality was wrong? Trace the poison to its source. The trap is to believe your judgment is your own. It rarely is. Was it a parent who shamed your ambition to keep you manageable? A teacher who punished your outspokenness to maintain order? A culture that taught you to be small so you would be a compliant worker? You must understand the judgment you feel is a ghost voice, an echo from a past prison. By identifying its source, you expose the root lie. You separate its poison from your soul. The power you unlock is liberation. Now you perform an act of mental warfare. You seize the power to define your own reality. Take the negative label that the ghost assigned to the quality. Arrogance, shamelessness, selfishness, and find the golden word hidden within. Arrogance becomes unconditional self-belief. Shamelessness becomes authentic expression. Selfishness becomes sovereign purpose. The trap is to think this is just a word game. It is not. It is rewriting the code of your own mind. It is a declaration of independence from the judgments of your past. The power you unlock is authority. You do not need to become them overnight. That is a fool's errand that leads to inauthentic mimicry. Instead, you integrate. You act in small, deliberate, tactical doses. You microdose the gold. Speak one unqualified opinion in a meeting. Block off 1 hour to create with no purpose other than the act itself. Say no to one request without a lengthy, apologetic explanation. This is how you reacclimate your nervous system to the gold it has rejected. The trap is to wait for a moment of grand courage. That moment will never come. Courage is built in these small, relentless acts. This is a quiet revolution, and the power you unlock is embodiment. Finally, you must anchor the internal shift with an external, ritualistic act. The unconscious mind speaks in symbols and actions, not just thoughts. Choose one small, concrete action that represents the claiming of your gold. Enroll in that public speaking class. Write page 1 of the book. Buy the domain name for the project you've dreamed of for a decade. The trap is to believe that thinking is enough. It is not. Action is the language your psyche respects. This action is a ritual, a physical declaration to the deepest parts of your being that the exile is over. The craftsman is returning to the mountain. The power you unlock is creation. For years you've been told to be a good person, a nice person, a humble person, but nobody told you the truth. Your envy is not your enemy. It is a compass pointing north to your true potential. Your hatred is not a poison. It is a treasure map, and its ink is your own burning passion. The people who trigger you are not your enemies. They are your most brutal, unwilling, and honest guides, pointing directly to the vaults of gold you buried within yourself. Stop wasting your precious, finite energy on them. That is the ultimate surrender. Start digging. The person you could be is not a distant dream. They are already there, waiting. They are the bedrock foundation of your inner citadel, the untamed life force that animates your very being. They are waiting for you to stop projecting them onto others and finally have the courage to claim them as your own, to ignite your will to power, to stop running from the storm, to become the storm. The gold is waiting. Now take the first step. This is not for me. This is for you. In the comments below, declare it. Make it real. What golden treasure are you reclaiming today?